And as I speak right now, I've been promoted again to now be country director over both Zambia and Malawi. So it's in 3 years, I've been promoted 5 times. My name's Rygard and I'm from Zambia, and the person standing next to me is my wife.
I'm Changwe. I'm Mr. Ntemena's wife. I'm also from Zambia.
The reason why I contacted God's TV, I was experiencing some challenges, financial challenges, especially having got married. And also the major reason was also stagnation in my career. I've been working for a company for 4 years. I had not experienced any significant growth. The salary was also just very small. And fortunately, I met my wife through the same company. But when we got married, we were not able to survive. Even when we put both our salaries together, we wouldn't be able to pay the bills. We had to borrow money. We had to depend on family to just get through the whole month, to buy for simple things like food, pay for our bills, our electricity, support the baby with her needs. That was a very big challenge. Actually, when we got married, we also had no furniture. Even the way we got married was through, when you go to the government, here it's called Civic Center. Because you can't afford to have a wedding, you have to go and get married at the government offices, essentially. So that's how I think that should give you an idea of the kind of background and the reasons why we had to come to God's TV. And because of these same finances, we were also experiencing significant challenges in our marriage. We were fighting a lot because there wasn't enough to go around. We were fighting about what to prioritize, what to do, what to pay for. And it was just causing significant strain on the marriage, essentially even getting to the point of maybe it's because I got married, that's why I'm experiencing this. Maybe this was a mistake. During those same challenges, I was interacting with someone who was working for the same company and, essentially just asking for help, asking for opportunities. If any opportunity comes up, they should let me know so that I can improve my financial situation. That person went back to the country that they had come from, and it had been like 4+ years. And only during the week when God's TV emailed me saying, hey, there's going to be an interactive prayer session, and asking me that I should join, and they essentially sent me the link. That person who I spoke to almost 4 years back WhatsApped me just to check on me and, how are you doing? We should talk at some point, something casual. So when I received the email, I took it by faith that God had answered my prayers. And when the interactive prayer took place on a Saturday, Brother Chris prayed for my wife and myself. The very next week, the guy called back and said, hey, we're thinking about opening a market in Zambia. Do you still want to work with me? I joined that company as a finance associate. And I kept following Brother Chris through God's Heart TV, kept, every invite. When they invite me for the interactive prayer session, I kept joining every month. Salary essentially increased. Our financial challenges seemed to reduce. We were able to afford a car. Something I forgot to mention, I also became a God's Heart TV partner. But that's not the end of the testimony. I only spent 6 months in the role, and they promoted me again to finance and operations manager to essentially oversee Zambia and Malawi. After that, I worked for another 2 years. They then promoted me again to finance, to country director, acting country director, for a period of around 8 months. When they appointed me as acting country director, I kept my prayer point became, Lord, help me to do well, help me to do exceptional things, help me, help me stand out, help me be the best at my job, And during that time, sales, the whole company essentially across Zambia and Malawi improved significantly, almost 2,000% growth in sales. Operations were more efficient. Everything went really well because every month I kept involving God. Every day, every week I kept praying and involving God and kept joining the interactive prayer session. So that period went really well. And I did that for 8 months. After I was done, I was then promoted again to finance and operations director for both countries. And as I speak right now, I've been promoted again to now be country director over both Zambia and Malawi, and I got promoted this February. So it's in 3 years, I've been promoted 5 times. Being involved in the interactive prayer session has not only improved our finances or my career, I think it's improved our marriage. It's improved how we interact with each other. It's improved, how happy we are in our home. Even now financially, I'm the one that helps people. I'm the one that helps my friends, helps my relatives, comes through for my relatives. I would have never imagined that I would be in a position where sometimes when somebody asks me for something, I give them. I don't even, when they ask to borrow money from me, I don't even ask for it back. I just let it go. And I'm able to bless others by the grace of God.
So I've been a sort of spectator of my husband's involvement with God's Heart TV. I initially wasn't very connected, so to speak. I would see him join the meeting. Sometimes I'd join for a few hours, for a couple of minutes, and then I'd leave. But I did notice that he was very committed to joining God's Heart TV. I've never seen him committed like that to any other ministry. And for that, I was just like, okay, this is good. But I didn't anticipate the change that would come with him joining the interactive meetings. So he's been joining them consistently. He's been very dedicated. And for me, it's heartwarming. I grew up in a Christian family. I have always aspired to have a strong Christian marriage. And there were certain parts of my marriage that used to frustrate me a lot, especially initially. My husband's spiritual growth has continued to just go from one level to the next level. There was a lot of issues that we did have. And I can see them literally just like falling off with every interaction, every intention that my husband has had in just pursuing God. And the most significant one was late last year, December. Brother Chris decided to get on a call with us for a counseling session. And this was the first time I interacted with God's Heart TV on a one-on-one with Brother Chris. And I was extremely humbled that he took time off his very busy schedule, I imagine, to speak to me and my husband. I think it was an hour, 30 minutes call. And he really spoke to my husband as a brother, as a mentor. And everything that he shared with him is stuff that I have presented to God before. Obviously, sometimes we go to friends and we complain about stuff, and sometimes we complain to our partner. But in that moment, I realized God is the only person that could intervene in a way that is actually transformational. And when Brother Chris spoke to us, he was very intentional in just ensuring that the message got across and that my husband actually understood what God wants for him. He kind of gave us stuff that we should do to just ensure that we continue in our spiritual growth. And I literally remember telling God, because I'm big on Christmas, I guess that's the worldly part of me. I really do care about the whole season. And for me, I was just like, God, this is the best Christmas gift, getting a call from Brother Chris. So and seeing my husband really understand what God wants for him. And I've seen change since then. We're more committed to going to church as a family. And I know that being part of that community is going to be impactful in my marriage and our relationship as husband and wife. He treats me differently. I guess I haven't really told him this. Perhaps I have said it in passing, but yeah, he's a completely different person from our initial year as a married couple to now, and I can only attribute that to God. And for him, it's been through the interaction that he's had with God's Heart TV. So more than the financial blessing that we've enjoyed from God, I think there's even a more profound blessing in the spiritual growth that I've seen in my husband that has ultimately affected me. It has impacted my family, and I'm hopeful that this would be something that would just continue to go from one height to another.
Can you please share what is your word of advice to the ladies and the women who are perhaps the other sisters who are also going through difficult time in their marriage?
Initially, I used to complain about my husband to God, and I think what God wants us to do, and what I've learned, is that He wants us to love our husbands the way that He loves us, the way that He's extended grace to us. He wants us to do the same with our husbands. And when we do present our issues to God, it should be from a place of love. Because when you're loving, you're patient and you're kind. In loving your husband, it's also a form of ministry to your husband, because you're not going to stop just because the person upset you. You genuinely love this person, and you're not coming from a place of bitterness. Also, it's important to understand that God instituted marriage, and He really wants marriages to work. And so He is the best person to talk to. He's the best person to present our complaints to, because He cares for us. Sometimes you might feel like He's not listening. It's a process. It takes a while. We might not see the results, but when we come from a point of love and understanding that this is the person that God has set aside for me, and this is my husband, we don't give up. So I would encourage other people to just keep on pressing into God, understanding that God sees you, He hears you, and He genuinely wants a fruitful, happy marriage for any Christian person.
My word of encouragement is, I think I've learned to, depend on God more. I've learned to depend on God for every day. And even in these promotions, there are still challenges at work. So there are still difficulties that you encounter. Sometimes there's negative experiences. But I think, especially through God's Heart TV, I've learned that I need to depend on God every day. I've moved from praying for the month to praying for the week to praying literally every day. Even for my work, I pray every day, like, God help me today with everything, in my faith, in my journey, in my family, to be good to my wife, to be good to my kids. I do my best to live each day as if it were my last. So the way I commit that day to God, I commit it fully. And I find that when I do that in a particular week, everything goes the way it's supposed to go. Even if I have challenges, I have strength to overcome those challenges and to go through those challenges with a positive attitude, with joy, and with peace.